It's time to see who can walk the talk. Commentators so often sit in their ivory towers protected by their words, but today no longer. Today we send them out on track, and here in Bragging Rights 3, third time's a charm. We'll see if anyone but those dang Aussies can be crowned the fastest talker of them all. Welcome along to RaceSpotTV. For the third time, commentators do battle, and Arjuna Kankipati alongside Paul Smith reprieved from all of that proving ourselves and instead just watching along. Paul, it's great to be back almost 450 days from when we last did this, but I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know about you.
I'm not nervous at all, but certainly it should be an interesting evening of racing, that is for sure. I competed in the very first one all those years ago, so I don't need to prove anything. That's why I'm sat here with you.
You are an iRacing All-Star race winner, let's not forget. You need to prove nothing to anybody, but like I said, so often we sit in the commentary booth, you see my rig over my shoulder, it gathers dust. It's not to say, though, that there aren't some talented drivers amongst us. And yeah, as I mentioned, SimSpeed, the defending champions, not just from Bragging Rights 1, Bragging Rights 2, of course. Bo Albert, defending drivers champion, although I have a feeling that based on last time how competitive it was, we're going to be in for some fun today. Let's look through the format, the 3 races that we've got in store for the drivers, because, Paul, it's very different combinations across 3 very distinct races.
It certainly is. I mean, this first race at the old Phoenix here with the street stocks. The street stocks are fun anyway. I love dabbling in the street stocks every now and again. The Pro 2 Lights at Lime Rock is just going to be like stadium truck racing, minus the jumps, obviously. But that should be a lot of fun. And then the IR04 at the best version of Silverstone, in my opinion. The old 08 layout, certainly going to be really intriguing to see how it goes tonight, and I'm going to be completely biased and hope that RaceSpotTV wins.
I mean, the pressure is on. We have got to see them try and come out on top. Now, of course, there are some broadcasting teams that have more drivers in this than others, and so to equalize things in the team championship, no team can have more than 3 drivers scoring points in each race, but in that regard, strength in numbers is a bit of a benefit.
Oh, it certainly is, and you can sort of gang up on the other ones if you need to help your team score the best. Yeah, there'll be some nefarious tactics out there. That's a big word for me. But yeah, certainly it'll be fun to watch this one, if not a little bit of carnage as well.
Just a little bit across those 3 races. Of course, we'll tot up the points, and after each and every one of them, we will hopefully have a chance to chat with some of the drivers as well, especially as they head off in through the various parts of the day. We can have a look at the various drivers behind the wheel as well, and look at the different setups that we've got across the board. Some drivers in virtual reality, but I should also note that at least for those Australians, we've compromised them in some ways, Paul. It's rather early in the morning for them.
One thing I will say, we've literally got one driver where all we can see is the side of their head. Oh, no, a bit more, but there you go. Yes, so we've compromised, well, a little bit of compromise to try and sort of give a bit of success. What you normally see, like success ballast in certain series. Well, this is success time difference.
Yes, but the problem is, Paul, they're too used to it. We need to make it more uncomfortable for them, which means for the next Bragging Rights, if they win this one, clearly what we need to do is run it in the middle of the day in Australia so they're comfortable. I would like to say as well, welcome along to FISRA, one of 3 new teams that are joining us. You see Alexia Loma just below Tim Cox on the left side of your screen. Bottom in virtual reality, I believe that's Jeff McConey as well. One of the new teams is McConey Entertainment and Grid Vision. Taylor Burris with what seems like a quite interesting living room setup behind him. Paul, we've seen some drivers have some company in the past. Not sure if anyone's behind Taylor to distract him and provide racing driver excuses today.
I mean, the big book of racing driver excuses should be used rather liberally, I think, here today. And I'm sure we'll see some new entries to it as well. But certainly, if there's one thing that should be a given is that when we interview people, everyone's equipment should be working straight away, because if they don't, then I will be having serious words with people.
You can see on the timing tower as the times begin to trickle on in qualifying that Finns are fast no matter where they go. Alexia Loma fastest of them all so far, but you can also see those teams, the broadcasting logos on the left side to kind of group where the drivers are. Street stocks at Phoenix. One thing to note, tire wear. It's going to be big. I think qualifying is going to be somewhat important.
It certainly could be, indeed. It will be a nice, cool track, though, for the drivers out there. Just, I'll give it in proper units, 24 degrees Celsius, which I don't know what that is in freedom units, but yeah, certainly it's not the hottest conditions, so that should help them a little bit with the tyre wear out there.
Just a little bit. By the way, RaceSpot, where are you guys? Lorenzo Bonder, best of 6 so far as Aloma finds more time. Ryan Jones, 5,000th off, but as you expect on an oval, it's pretty close up towards the front. They get 4 laps with which to work, so there's going to be more and more improvement, Paul, as we work to the end of the session.
Yeah, although you do get a point, don't you, with these qualifying sessions on an oval where as the tyres just heat up that bit more and start getting a little bit more push on the front end, so you normally want to try and get a quick lap in early, but you never know, as Cam Dance that's just showing off now.
Dances his way up towards the top. The thing that I've forgotten, by the way, is we're running at Old Phoenix, which does mean that the start-finish line is where it's meant to be, rather than the awkward configuration that they run in the real world today. Ryan Jones doesn't find any improvement as he finds himself done and dusted for qualifying. I'm not sure who's still left out there to improve. Colleague racing employee Dylan Coyle will run his way to the line, and Paul, I know you want to see some good times from him.
Yeah, absolutely. Although that isn't an improvement, so I'm disappointed by that. 2 drivers not setting times, Gary Weaver and, well, the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series commentator Evan Pasoko, yet to set a time.
That's Team iRacing.com, maybe on a bit of a strategy to maybe not qualify, start towards the back, but not suggesting that is a wise idea. We'll have to see how it works as Cameron dances his way to the line and does not improve, but he's already on top, and I don't think there's anyone necessarily that is left out there to try and beat him. Here comes RaceSpotTV's Andrew Cardinal, 31.865, still has 1 more lap to go.
Yeah, what can he do here? Get a nice look at this. Oh, look at that slide. That's well, it's not the quickest way around the track, but certainly spectacular. One thing I like about this Old Phoenix layout is the fact that you've not got the stupid paved area that people cut across the inside of the curves.
I was going to say, the arbiter of track limits was going to say something about that at some point. Will Chadwick improves and up to 10th position, so important in those yellow and black colours to cycle his way up through the running order. Reese Gardner in the GSRC colours finds himself with no improvement, and I think that will be the session done and dusted, because I don't think there's enough time for anyone to get back around.
I wonder if there's a serious track guide about this venue.
I wonder what that's an allusion to.
But anyway, yeah, qualifying's done. The drivers now, they just get a little bit of a warm-up time, and then we head on into the race.
I think we might, because of our slight delay, go directly on to the race session, but I'm getting nervous now, and we're expecting a bit of a slugfest out there in the first race of 3. And if you're an oval specialist, Paul, you're going to have to make sure you take advantage of this one.
Well, that's it. You know, this is the one I mean, the pressure is on for those who are specialists in oval racing right now, because it's an expectation that you are going to be the one who performs well in this race compared to maybe some of those that specialise in road racing. I mean, the real curveball is going to be when we go to that second race in the Pro 2 Light. So definitely the pressure's on those oval specialists right now.
The thing is, at least it's not going to a dirt track with those dirt machines where you get the dirt specialist rising to the top. At least it's a bit more of an oddball. Let's run down, though, to the starting grid. We've got, let's not forget, 3 distinct races left to go. And, well, It's SimSpeed trying to defend their championship. No Bo Albert around to defend his crown, and so it'll be Cameron Dance that leads us to the green alongside Alexia Loma in the Fisra colors. Of course, races for the X-Racer team on occasion. Ryan Jones and Sam Fitzpatrick on the second row with the row with Apex Racing team represented. The second of the Fisra machines, Kalle Parvainen, will be alongside Aaron Smith on row number 3, while lining up in 7th, Andrew Cardinal is alongside Lorenzo Bonder, Michael de Turkin. Will Chadwick on the 5th row see Jeff McConey, and then Dan Yeaman behind. Don't forget, Dan Yeaman was a big contender in bragging rights too. Joey Tebbin, Reese Gardner on the 7th row of the starting grid with a pair of orange and black machines, but Josh Wilkie represents the Apex Racing team. Taylor Burris represents Grid Vision. It'll be Simon Mazzomo and then Lewis Ward behind them on the 9th row of the starting order, with Dylan Coyle and Brandon Herzing behind them in the street stock machines. A quarter of a second through the front 10 rows, and then Iku Marakala, Jason Fewins, Gary Weaver, Jack Stiles, they're the front 24, and then Justin Melillo, Jonathan Grabowski, Tim Cox, Derek Watson, and Evan Pasoko make up the rest of the starting grid. So we've got 29 contenders ready to roll, and they've not got much time, Paul, before they get let loose for the first time today.
And already Will Chadwick is saying he only knows how to turn right, so he's getting the excuses in early as Will there. That's not acceptable though. I expect better from you, Will. But yeah, these drivers get themselves prepared as the sun is setting here in Phoenix, Arizona. 28 laps for these drivers to duke it out for the first of 3 races.
I see a couple of comments about it's an oval, who needs practice. The tyre management's going to be a thing here. It's going to be interesting, and Dane's worried about the time of day. Don't worry, we've already had to put up a new session because we were going to be racing into the dark. We slightly wound the clock slightly back. But over 450 days on from SimSpeed being crowned Bragging Rights 2 champions, it's time to see if anyone but those dang Aussies can be crowned Bragging Rights 3 champions. 3rd time's a charm for anyone but SimSpeed across the line. And at Phoenix, we're underway. Already a couple of those RaceSpot machines trying to make it 3 wide in the background, but around the outside for the lead. Alexia Loma pinches Cam Dance through turn number 1 as we filter our way down the back straight.
Certainly do, and drivers just get themselves sorted out. Still 2x2 at the front of your field. In fact, pretty much all the way through your field here into the back section now. Sliding your way through, and it's a question of which line is going to hook up nicer around this track for these drivers. And this is the thing, with this street stock, they will be needing to brake and slow down. It's not just a case of giving it the old Jeremy Clarkson power. You do have to do a bit of braking and be able to manage the car that way as well. You've
got to wonder at what point will teamwork start to play a part as we see Cam Dance in the rig with the R Racing shirt, Alexia Loma alongside him. Just on the outside, if Ryan Jones can get to the bumper of his teammate, could they start to work together? But at least for the time being, as we come to the end of lap number 2 of 28, no cautions in this one, I will just emphasize, and so you see some of the 3 wide behind. There will be some nervous Nellies. If there's an issue back in the pack, as there is there for the 86 of Joshua Wilkie, it could cause a bit of a checkup as he's still going backwards. I'm not going to like that one.
Oh, that's going to be heavy into the wall as cars scatter then across the track. But as you say, no cautions in this, so we're staying green flag racing. This is exactly how street stocks should be driven.
It's hard but fair. These are rookie introductory machines into the world of oval racing, but they do let you get away with some contact. Slightly further behind, the leader, Sam Fitzpatrick and Andrew Cardinal, lead on one another. And Will Chadwick's been aggressive. He only knows how to turn right, but he's already up 3 spots in this race so far.
Yeah, working his way downtown, moving fast. No, I won't carry on that song.
Oh, come on.
Up into 7th place for him. Sam Fitzpatrick losing places. We've got swapping at the front. Plenty of time in this one. There's no rush yet. And I think if you can bide your time and just keep your nose clean right now in that front pack, then you've got an opportunity towards the end of the race.
This is what I was saying earlier, though. Can teammates work together? Ryan Jones takes it 3 wide, but Cam Dance doesn't want to back out of it, and so as Jones gets compromised down low, around the outside, Alexia Loma is going to be slightly checked up towards the line. If this was the end, Loma would have it, and by 14 thousandths of a second, Jones slots back into 3rd, but that's a sense of what this wide track can really produce.
Oh, that's loose for the 107 around. Oh my goodness, it's going to be a big wreck Behind, there's the 45 into the wall. Will Chadwick has dropped down the order here in this one, so he's got caught up in all that drama, and it was just one little mistake through that turn one that's had huge consequences.
And you can see that's also now just allowed some of those drivers up front to somewhat single file themselves out, as Jeff McConey, Reese Gardner, Dan Yeaman all still fighting amongst themselves. You can see on the right side of the screen how those points are shifting all around. And of course, the points basically as they finish, every position worth a point, and that's why it's so important to not back down, because we've seen over the course of these bragging rights events how this point system can incentivize passing.
Yeah, absolutely, and if you can get yourself some as many points as possible in this first race, of course, as well, you're setting yourself up in towards the second part of this event. And a quick slurp of a canned beverage there. I hope that's a zesty drink there. But still, look at the concentration. Look at the sim racer's lean going on as well.
Everyone loves the sim racer lean. The one thing that we're not seeing right now is the tongue sticking out, so I'm disappointed. They're not putting enough effort in just yet, but I think the one thing that we're seeing just riding on board with Ryan Jones is how smooth that they're having to be, because every little scrub that you have of the steering wheel to the right-hand side, A, heats up the tires, B, loses some momentum, and it's so easy for Jones to close back up if he's a bit smoother. He's just got nowhere to take that charge.
Yeah, that's the tricky part, is just keeping it nice and smooth. Smoothness is key around here, and you're really pushing on. Speaking of pushing on, a little bit further down, damaged cars. They will be a little bit slower top speed-wise, and that allows the number 30 to go through. That's the number 30 of Jeff McConey moving forward.
I think it's Joey Tebbin with some big damage, as we look at Dan Yeaman and Jeff McConey, one in VR, one sitting with some tools behind him in some sort of a workshop, it would seem. Now, damage in this car doesn't seem to slow you down too much, even as much as Tebbin might want to fight that characterization. It does seem as though he's able to hang on relatively well, as much as the right front might look like a bit of a parachute. A couple of cars exiting the pit lane as they still battle slightly further behind, but we're almost getting to the halfway mark of this one, Paul.
Oh, very, very big twitchy moment there for Andrew Cardinal. That was a big heart-in-mouth moment there for him on the exit of turn one. Keeps it on the grey stuff. That was well held, I must say.
I've got to say, I'm very, very impressed by everything that we've seen so far. Yes, we've had, 2 bits of drama, but only 6 cars have had to make trips down to pit lane. Not going to, I think, have to worry about lap traffic through this one. And there's another big slide there from Cardinal as the 3 cars at the front once again go side by side and all work their way on through. Aloma's finally been able to clear himself of Ryan Jones, as now he has a look up the inside of his teammate Cameron Dance.
Now, is this a case of, as we're reaching that midway point of the race, as we're going 3 wide behind the leaders, is that a case of Cam Dance maybe just pushing the tyres a little bit too much too early by trying to stay at the front, and that's a quarter panel.
And so Michael de Turk and Andrew Cardinal become checked up with one another. Lorenzo Bonder as well as Sam Fitzpatrick slide on through, and the bleeding not just done as these two now out of the top 10 and more start to filter their way on through. There are fast repairs if you want to head your way down to pit lane, but that's a penalty you will not want to pay. But Cardinal, with no front end, may now have to do so. And you mentioned it, Paul, he was struggling earlier and really sliding around the rear.
He certainly was, but he's getting back up to speed now. We've got the 954 just getting out the way. So, yeah, we've had a bit of a move about on the order, and I think this is where now, if people haven't done that practice, like we were saying, they're now experiencing that, tyre wear is real, and it is affecting these cars.
And I've got to say, Alexi Aloma, Fisra, a bit of a late call-up into Bragging Rights 3. They got the forms submitted about 48 hours ago. So found out about the combinations around the same time as the rest of the drivers on Thursday this week. But, you know, I've got to say, most people think that Finns are only good at Formula One, you look at Kimi Räikkönen, Mika Häkkinen, so many other talented Finns, or rallying. No, they've got a very, very strong oval community. And look at Valtteri Alander and the likes of the iRacing Indy 500, able to run up towards the front of the ISO WC 500 as well. They're just good at going fast.
Well, there's a whole reason why in the old World Cup of iRacing, they used to always be up there. They're winning or challenging for the win of those events. They're just such a talented bunch of people there in Finland, and I think a little bit is to do with the fact that they get taught proper car control techniques whilst they're learning to drive. So I think that really does then translate into the sim, and oh, that's a big moment for a couple of cars.
That was Gary Weaver that bounced off of the wall. Not sure who got caught up with him, unfortunately, but it's going to cause a four-wide situation in towards the opening corner. Long way around for the 67 of Jason Fairwinds as Justin Melillo straight into the wall as his FTF GG machine clearly has got some big damage. Swap around for Lorenzo Bonder and Sam Fitzpatrick for 4th and 5th positions as Lorenzo Bonder flies the flag for RaceSpotTV. I've got to say, Lorenzo's making his case for the fastest driver at RaceSpot. Where's Will Chadwick right now?
Yeah, he had to pit, remember, did Will. The other driver who got caught up in that, by the way, was Justin Melillo. So he's heading onto pit road right now with 11 to go here. Time is running out, and really you don't want to be on pit road anywhere from now, really.
We've got closing battle at the front as still Cam Dancer's on the back of Alexia Loma. You've got to wonder for these two drivers, have they been running their tyres a bit harder than Ryan Jones behind? I said that we didn't have traffic to worry about. If any of those drivers slightly further up the queue continue to fight, it could very well drop these two as they exit out of turn 3 and 4 for the 19th time in this first race of 3, with a 10th and a half splitting them right now. I think Lorenzo Bonder and Sam Fitzpatrick may be closing slightly as well.
I think those two need to work together. There needs to be a little bit of bump drafting going on, and to help each other out to get closer to this front group, because they can't get embroiled in any sort of fight amongst themselves. They need to progress forward. It sounds weird when you're competing against each other, but it's true. Work together and you can possibly try and get to that lead group.
Andrew Cardinal has had to bring his car down to pit lane after losing the front end. Took him a couple of laps longer maybe than we thought, but you can see him just on the inside of that shot in pit lane. Look to the inside from Cam Dance, and I say anyone but those dang Aussies. Cam Dance flies the flag for sim speed, but a Kiwi. He wants us to recognize that. Justin Melillo off of pit lane will present an opportunity for Dance to close, but doesn't look to the inside. Jones is the one that gets even closer.
He's an Antipodean, so that's all the same. He's from that area of the world. So yeah, Cam is a rapid driver. I've seen him in many championships, not just behind the microphone, but also racing as well. He is somebody who knows how to wheel a motor vehicle, and he will be a serious contender here all the way through the 3 races.
You know what? With no Bo Albert, I somewhat think that Cam Dance is somewhat a favourite, although we'll have to see how Lime Rock goes, because that is truly the wild card. He gets a much better run, though, through the mid part of turns 3 and 4. Big slide, though, off the corner for Alexia Loma, and a wiggle of the wheel as well. Just about holds on to his lead and his momentum at the front.
And a half a moment of an expression of emotion from Alexi as well.
From a Finn.
From a Finn, exactly. It's a joke, but still, he's feeling the pressure a little bit here. But right now, it's Ryan Jones is trying to make some moves on his teammate.
Fitzpatrick back past Bonder for 4th and 5th position. Those are important points, let's not forget. As much as we're talking about the lead battle right now, you've got to remember that those drivers will be keeping an eye on stuff as well. Don't forget the likes of Dylan Coyle and Joey Tebben. Tebben doing a great job, still with that damage, but trying to hold on to a spot in the top 10 and pinching into the opening corner.
Oh, that's a great tactic if you can sort of get that wider line, but then pinch the driver down, slow them down, compromise them. Evan Pasoka, look at that, starting at the back of the field. He's been quietly going about business, hasn't he?
It's not been bad for him. 18 positions gained.
Yeah, I tell you, he's been a busy boy. He's been working forward here.
All right, no commentators curse today, by the way, because A, if you believe Lewis McGlade, it doesn't exist, but B, because we are not going to do that to our fellow commentators. We are here to support them as much as we are also here waiting for them to slip up so we can roast them as hard as possible. 3 laps to go, though, at the front, and traffic will be a factor for Aloma, for Dance and Jones as they close their way to the checkered flag.
Yeah, getting close into that line now, and yeah, now that traffic is holding that lower line, and Alexi's having to take a different line. Oh, contacts more, and around.
Oh, there's a bit of a wry smile on the face of Cam Dance as I think Ryan Jones is going to slip on through. Alexia Loma might not have appreciated that so much, and oh, Ryan Jones now tips around Cam Dance, who's going to slide into the wall hard.
Does anybody want to actually win this motor race? This is absolutely crazy. Here we go then. Sam Fitzpatrick says, thank you very much, boys. I'm coming through.
Lorenzo Bonda says, I'll grab a podium as well, you know. Ryan Jones is the one that's at the front and running away with things. We'll see the white flag next time by. And as much as there's not much for Ryan Jones to worry about, plenty for others. Jeff McConey's directly in front of Dan Yeaman as we head on to the final lap of the race, while Michael DeTurk, Joey Tebben, Dylan Cole, Evan Pasoko, and then Alexia Loma all still have plenty to fight for. But it's bragging rights, let's not forget. They're not going to lift, even heading to the checkered flag.
White flag, so here we go then, one final chance to move forward if you can. Amazingly, Cam Dance is still in 4th place through all of that. That's sensational. But yeah, this has been a fun race to start us off on here.
And it's maybe one of the normal races. We'll head into the unknown next time. But for Ryan Jones, it's SimSpeed back on top. But with Jones leading the charge, it's victory for those Aussies as they begin bragging rights 3 back on top of things. Sam Fitzpatrick is going to grab 2nd and be delighted with that. Lorenzo Bonda 3rd, and then the rest will come across the line. Jeff McConey on debut in bragging rights is in 5th. Dan Yeaman clawed his way up to grab 6th, and then plenty of others will finish things up. And Paul, if this was an indication of how things are going to go, I think it's going to be quite close throughout the course of today.
It's going to be chaotic, let's be honest. You put a bunch of commentators on a racetrack, yeah, it's going to be chaotic. But no, this is going to be close. This is going to be really good. I think if you're Alexi right now, you are feeling a little bit hard done by in all of that.
There is no race control. This is for fun. I just want to emphasize that before we get anyone angrily saying, where was the penalty coming? Cam Dance didn't win the race anyway, so it's a bit of a moot point, but Ryan Jones is the one that's going to take the points, the main points heading out of this one, and we'll grab a look at your race results in just a moment's time and take a look at some of the margins as well, because we did say tire management may end up being a factor, but for Ryan Jones, 1.8 seconds clear. Didn't have to baby those tires too much. Sam Fitzpatrick 2nd, Lorenzo Bonda 3rd, and then Cameron Dance in 4th position. Jeff McConey 5th with Dan Yeaman, Michael DeTurk the first of the GSRC machines in 7th, with Joey Tebben for FTF in 8th, even with all of that damage in front of Dylan Coyle, and then Evan Pasoko, who started at the back, 19 positions gained to get up into that top 10. And you just look at 3 SimSpeed cars in the top 7, and you already know they've started things on top in the team points as well. Alexia Loma, Jack Stiles, Tim Cox, Jason Fairwinds, Brandon Herzing, Taylor Burris, Derek Watson, Jonathan Rapowski, Kali Parvainen, and then William Chadwick make up the rest of your top 20, with a handful of those drivers having to come down pit lane and get some damage repaired and therefore dropping 1 lap down. But at least, like with Andrew Cardinal, only 1 lap down, it was 2 laps down, plus for the likes of Simon Mazzomo, Aaron Smith, Gary Weaver, Iku Merakala, Reese Gardner, Justin Melillo, Lewis Ward, and Josh Wilkie. So that's a look top to bottom at your race results, and I'm hoping now that we can run our way down towards the track and have a bit of a chat with some of our drivers, get a sense for exactly what all they saw and what that was like. Let's see if we can drag up race winner in the first race of today, Ryan Jones. He's standing by with Paul Smith.
Ryan then, so talk us through that, because that was a little bit dramatic, wasn't it, towards the end?
Yeah, that was interesting. It felt like I was just sat behind a moving roadblock for the first 3 quarters of the race, and then the laps cars made things pretty interesting there.
And of course, your team, you're looking to defend your bragging rights. It's not been a bad start, has it, for yourselves? Even if yourself and Cam were sort of getting into each other as well.
Yeah, that was a bit unfortunate. I think he still came away with a top 5, so that's good for the points. Yeah, the 3-peat's looking strong already. We're all up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and they're not stopping us at the moment.
Well, certainly that's going to be good. And just finally, Pro 2 light trucks at Lime Rock. How are you feeling for that?
Pro 2 lights on a road course are one of my best road course cars, but unfortunately, my road course abilities are substantially worse than my oval ones, so I'll pass this one over to Cam and Mizomo probably.
Right, well, have fun and have a good final 2 races.
Cheers, boys.
There we go, that was Ryan, our race winner. Let's hope to catch a word as well with Lorenzo, who is talking all over the top of me. How unprofessional, Lorenzo.
Okay.
But Lorenzo, first race in the books. You got a podium for Race Spot. How are you feeling?
I'm happy. To be quite honest, I thought I was going to get P2. I wanted to run for P2, but the back markers, and did my day. Cam did a very, very nasty dive bomb on turn 3, but we got away unscathed, and I got points for the team. Actually, I saved the team. Now the job is on them to carry us all the way.
How are you feeling for the Pro 2 here, though? Because it is quite the wild combination here around Lime Rock.
It is a wild combination. I like the car. I was doing some testing around yesterday. It is a very fun combo. It's hard for you to get a really good lap, but it's very racy, and I believe we're gonna get some really good, fast, and very, very rubbing and banging laps when we get green.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're looking at sort of close to minute laps, aren't we? So, Lorenzo, you've got yourself a little message in the background as well. Yeah, you weren't last in the first one. That's the main thing. Let's carry on that form.
No, I swear, after my appalling performance on Bragging Rights 2, I made a promise to myself I won't do Race Spot bad this time, so I won't get P last. I swear.
Well, there we go. Just 2 more races to do. All the best, Lorenzo.
All the best. You guys have a good one.
That was a nice little chat with Lorenzo. We're just getting ready to go for the next race that is on deck here in Bragging Rights 3. And Lorenzo has done us proud, at least in the first race. He's now got some pressure, though, because you can see the drivers out there. It's a Pro 2 light. It's about 400 horsepower just through the rear wheels at Lime Rock. Paul, this is a difficult challenge.
Yeah, it's you've got to contend with... I mean, this car, it's still... even though you say about the horsepower and that, it's still a tricky car to handle with that power. And you've also got the, how shall we say, significant body roll that these drivers are not used to having, and suspension travel that you're used to having on a road course. So definitely it's a bit of a handful, and I'm happy to hear that Lorenzo's actually been practicing around here as well.
Oh, Lorenzo has helped me figure out how many laps we can do in these races as well, which is very, very important, because this car, not designed to go on road courses, yes, but it has a road course setup. iRacing recognize how frequently people want to put this onto a road course, and so therefore, Paul, this is a car that has a road course setup, but with not enough fuel to do 15 minutes. We added 1 more click and it's ready to go. I'm going to be very curious to see who's actually done some practice with this, though, because I don't know how many people have done laps in it before today.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, I never go well at Lime Rock myself. It's one of those bogey tracks that I have. I don't know what it is, but every driver seems to have one track where it doesn't work out for them and it never goes well, and this is one of those. But in this truck, at least you don't need to worry about bottoming them out when you go up over that jump after where the chicane would be normally. So I am glad that we're using the classic layout, because it's the best layout.
It's the one that I thought would also scare the drivers the most, Paul. I'll just be completely honest.
Well, I mean, coming around that fast left, that fast right-hander, up over the top of the rise, if you're going to have trucks around you as well. And these things can take a little bit of contact, because they are dirt trucks, and we all know that dirt racing does get a little bit physical, so I can see this race here getting a bit physical as well.
Dirt racing, physical? Who'd have ever said that? Let's go see. I'm not 100% sure if this is working. Oh, it is. Lovely. Our points have carried forward from race number 1, so again, effectively, every position worth a point. These are just as they finished from the first race of the evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are around the world, hopefully uncomfortably early in the morning if you are from Australia. So that's the points. Just a reminder, as they run right now for the drivers, this is how it looks for the teams.
Now look at that, you're talking, what about a 13-point gap there between SimSpeed and RaceSpotTV. They say never trust the commentator's maths, but I did that off the top of my head. I'm rather proud of myself. Apex Racing Team, Apex Racing TV. That's my.
It rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
It's my pest commentary just coming out there. Used to saying that. They're 9 points back, and then there's a bit of a jump back, 22 points to Fisra. Oh, how much better would that have been if Alexei could have stayed there at the front?
Yeah, now I don't think I have the ability to show... Oh, I do. I have live team points as well. I should have shown... We'll show that for the future rounds. We're learning on the fly here, the broadcast. The beauty of broadcast is you do it on the fly. What did we say just before we went live, Paul?
We'll do it live.
Yeah, we'll do it live. I tell you what, should we do it live? Should we send them over to qualifying?
Ah, absolutely, why not?
So the drivers get the command. They will finish up a few last moments of practice. And once again... get ready to do battle. Now, I'm not sure if my timing screen is lying to me, but I only see 28 drivers.
28, yeah.
Okay, so one driver has fallen away from us, unfortunately.
Yeah, we have lost one driver, unfortunately. But then again, dealing with commentators is rather like herding cats. I mean, we know that from experience of trying to organise 24-hour races. You more so, Arjuna, for actually organising things. But yeah, dealing with commentators is like herding cats. It's just you deal with one person, another person goes, "Oh, shiny thing," and goes off in a different direction. And that's what we're all like. We see things and we go, "Oh, look, what's that over there?"
That's sim races as a whole, is what I would probably say. Yes. If you want to be herded around like a sheep by yours truly, you've still got about a day and a half to qualify for the IMSA Esports Open Challenge. Shameless self-plug there. GT4 cars, Daytona, time attack qualifiers. You can do as many laps as you want. Last that I checked, which was a couple of hours ago, so I will be honest, I'm not 100% sure if it is still like this, but this driver on your screen, Will Chadwick, still hoping to be proven as the fastest driver at RaceSpotTV, Paul, was in the top 5 of the time attacks for all 5 of the GT4 machines.
I mean, there's... there's the old phrase of putting all your eggs in one basket. No, he's putting them in all of the baskets as well there with that one. He's just trying everything that he can to make sure he's in that.
Oh, he's got the phase shirt on as well as we ride with him for a lap. Let's see what this is all about. And I have a feeling, Paul, it's going to be mostly about just trying to avoid being a bit too wild.
I mean, first of all, I'm disappointed by the fact that he's given us a horizontal, given us a vertical rather than horizontal view of himself driving. I mean, it's not like he worked in broadcast. Oh wait, he does do broadcasts for us. But anyway, yeah, he's certainly given us that look through. And again, it's the sim racer's lean, no ton, but he's certainly sim racing lean in it. And it's really funny with this track because it's effectively an oval as this track, bar one left turn. Everything else is a right turn here.
It is indeed. And it's one of those things where it's deceptive in the way that it operates. Because I don't think Will's had to shift out of... Oh, there we go. He's finally shifted gears. I was going to say he was in one gear the entire lap. He looks happy with it. It's a 102.276. Now we're going to see if that stacks up well or not.
No, he's pulling it up. He's happy with that.
Oh, not bad. Will to the top.
And look at that, Jack Styles and Lorenzo as well. My goodness, it's a race spot 1, 2, 3 right now. I did say that I was going to be biased, but that is absolutely sensational. 0.2 of a second from Lorenzo. Oh, and of course Reese and Daniel go and ruin things.
It's okay. At least Reese is representing GSRC here. This is a one-shot quali, by the way. This is slightly different than the others, apparently, because Arjuna doesn't know how to set up sessions correctly. So hashtag blame Arjuna. What it does mean, though, is goodness. There's some pressure here. Grabowski to the line. He's done as well. He's at the tail end of the order. Here comes Lewis Ward. He'll want to impress for the Apex Racing team as well. I did it myself.
Do you know what, as well, the interesting thing, Cam Dance has not set a lap time, and he cannot set a lap time.
So he's invalidated his one attempt at qualifying, and it means he'll start towards the back.
Yeah. Aaron Smith again, another one, as is Aiku, as is Derek Watson as well. So yeah, 4 drivers not able to set themselves a lap time. Good news though, we do have 29 drivers.
Oh, we do. So it was just a blip on the timing screen is what it was.
Will Chadwick has heard what I said and has changed his camera around.
Why do you think I came over to here? I saw him trying to flip it around and I was just 10 seconds too late. Will Chadwick in real time has flipped it around just for you, Paul. And Derek Watson, by the way, is the person that's not showing us much of his head. That's who you can see the left ear of.
I'll tell you what, it's working for him though. My goodness, you wouldn't think that all of these people work in some form of broadcasting here on iRacing.
Yeah, you've got so many different setups as well. It's great to see because we spend so much time behind monitors, behind cameras, and not too much time behind the rigs as I know too well, unfortunately, so it is good to see. Taylor Burris gives us a wave, as does Andrew Cardinal. Big smiles. I think that's what I'm taking away from this poll. Hopefully they're all having fun.
Well, that's what it's all about, really, isn't it? I mean, the main thing is winning, of course, but yeah, we do need to have some fun as well in this high-stakes competition.
We do indeed. So the session's going to flip on over again, qualifying in the books. And we will work our way on over directly in towards the race session. Now, this is a rolling start. There's no standing start, I believe, for these drivers to have to contend with because that would be an interesting experience in and of itself. But while they get ready to grid themselves up, let's running down trackside to what is a starting grid that even Lorenzo Bonder might be shocked by because he's on top and with the only time into the 101.9s. He is the fastest of them all with Will Chadwick almost a full quarter of a second behind. Reese Gardner and Dan Yeaman, the Aussies for GSRC and SimSpeed, rolling behind them though on the second row of the starting formation. Jack Styles, Alexia Loma, 5th and 6th positions for RaceSpotTV and FISRA with Lewis Ward and Joey Tebben 7th and 8th. Ryan Jones and Michael de Turk for SimSpeed and GSRC behind them. It'll be Kalle Parvainen and then Sam Fitzpatrick, 11th and 12th positions. 13th for Jeff McConey, 14th for Simon Mazzomo, Dylan Cool, Josh Wilkie, Tim Cox, Jason Fairwinds, and then rounding out the top 20, Andrew Cardinal and Evan Pasoga, who does actually qualify this time around, Gary Weaver, Justin Malillo, Brandon Herzing, and then Taylor Burris, as well as Jonathan Grabowski. The final times on the board before those caught out by the one lap in qualifying, Cam Dance, Aaron Smith, Iku Merikala, and Derek Watson, the 29 trucks that get ready to roll once more. And it's interesting, Paul, just to look at the split of times that we have.
Yeah, big split of times there, as we've had some quick times and some not so quick times, but at least they got time set. And Will Chadwick is giving it the full try hard, warming up the tyres.
I mean, he's slower than Lorenzo. Paul, he needs every benefit he can get.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, we're just rubbing it in. This is what we get to do because we're still in the ivory tower of the commentary booth. These poor commentators have no protection from Paul and myself endlessly lambasting them here at Lime Rock Park. And boy, what an interesting one this is going to be. It's Pro 2 Light, 400 horsepower at Lime Rock Park, and we're already into the grass and somehow 4 wide. Lorenzo Bonder leads them into turn 1, words that may never be spoken again on RaceSpotTV. Will Chadwick tries to take the lead away from him around the outside, but it is helter-skelter Noah's Ark. Chadwick to the point through turn number 2.
no, they've done it wrong. They should have stayed too wide because the track's quite narrow and nobody would have got past them. Oh, wow, the plan's gone to what there? So Will Chadwick, to the front, but Daniel Yeaman, great start from the second row, getting himself up into second place. And Reece Gardner's just losing out a little bit. He's got Jack Stiles behind him right now, so things are looking good. I'll tell you what, though, a relatively clean start. I say relatively, there was a little bit of contact.
Oh, I saw some body parts flying off. These trucks have just got the new damage model as well, so that is something that these drivers, commentators have got to keep in mind. But yeah, you're right, it has been surprisingly clean. Remember, we can use the grass. It might just be a little slower for you to do so. Chadwick Yeaman, try and break away. Don't do this. Don't try and go full wide into turn number 1. Who's going to back out of this one? Not going to be Michael DeTurk. He bullies Lewis Ward side by side through turn number 1.
Oh, if you can hang it around the outside. Oh, the car goes flying off the track there. My goodness. As more cars having issues there. Oh, that's Aloma so down and down the field. But who was it that just went flying off at turns 1 and 2?
It's Sam Fitzpatrick who decided that he didn't need to take the corner. I've just realized, though, there's an Apex Racing car that's got no front end, and Josh Wilkie is now having to pull aside because that's not going to work out long term.
No, that's suboptimal, as we like to say here on commentary. There's tyre smoke, there's trucks flying over the grass here. It's a good job we're not racing at a Motorsport Vision track, or else Jonathan Palmer would be having a fit seeing all this grass getting ripped up.
No FIA track limits to worry about either today, fortunately, Paul. Although I do wonder, and I hope that Sam Fitzpatrick's not going to try that again. Otherwise, he may have to get some sort of race control involved as we work through the opening corner. He'll do it again and take the shortcut. But here we go, into turn number 2.
Oh, Sam Mazzoma's had issues out there as well, but Fitzpatrick, look at him! Look at the cars just go straight across the track. I'm sorry, that is, as the arbiter of track limits, I think this is pushing it a bit too hard. Yes, you can use the grass, but not to cut out an entire section of track.
The drivers asked if they could do that pre-race and were told no. So, yes, there will be penalties awarded if anyone does that again. I'm just saying that now so that I can point back on the tape to saying this. Fitzpatrick's going to pull to the side, let Chadwick slip on through. But what it does now mean is we've got a little bit of a gaggle up towards the front. Chadwick, Yeaman, Fitzpatrick, and Bonder. 1, 2, 3, 4 with, well, Jack Stiles not too far back.
Yeah, as down towards 1 again onto the brakes. And do you know what's really good about racing this truck on this track here, on the road course, is that you can see when they hit the brakes because the front end just dips all the way down as, more panel damage happening further down the field there. That's Brandon Herzing who's involved in all of that, and that's the 96 of Herzing getting spun around as we had one upside down. That was Simon Mazzoma, I think.
It's a pretty big one, but it's nice to see that the new damage model's getting a workout on these Pro 2 trucks. Of course, iRacing build out this most recent week so much that these drivers and commentators have to look forward to in the future, and I'm looking forward to seeing how some of this 3D grass looks in the future. I don't think there's too much of that here at Lime Rock, although Sam Fitzpatrick once again will invoice Jonathan Palmer for lawn mower services. I can get my words out.
I think I'm seeing a little bit more 3D grass than you actually on my end, so maybe that's just a me setting. But anyway, yeah, it's 1, 3, and 5 at the moment for RaceSpot, but you never say never because it's still a long old race as this one. We've still got many laps to go here and many body panels and suspension damage to be able to happen here. Here comes Sam Fitzpatrick back at Lorenzo then, down the inside. That's not traditionally an overtaking spot, but Sam's making that work for him.
He had to back out of it, though. That's the undulation playing its part as well, right? As the momentum shifts, you just have to sometimes get out of the throttle. I wonder what some of these drivers are thinking about in terms of gearing, because we rode around for a lap and basically heard it was, foot to the floor, not much going on. Wonder if anyone is doing something different and has some intentions of shifting these cars and using the gearing to their advantage. Let's go slightly further back, though, in the queue as there's some side-by-side for Kalle Paravainen looking past Joey Tebben into turn number 1.
Getting the job done as well. And, yeah, through they go. And Paravainen then in 13th, looking forward. And again, just certainly looking forward. And good positioning of the fan there as well, because it does get hot when you get racing out there. You know, people seem to think that, oh, you're just sitting behind a computer just playing games. No, it's a real physical workout, especially if you've got a strong Newton meter DD wheel. So definitely the tactical fan deployment has certainly come into play here.
And that is something that I've had to remember as I've been doing a bit more rallying myself. Get some airflow on you, because otherwise you'll sit there for an hour and you'll be like, boy, it does feel like I've been in the cockpit of one of those actual WRC machines. You can see those live points. It's close up towards the front between RaceSpot and SimSpeed. Apex Racing somewhat being dropped back as Ryan Jones deploys a bit of the parachute, tries to prevent Lewis Ward from getting to the inside, but the 97 is there. Ward gets on through, steals a crucial point away. Let's not forget from SimSpeed as well in that team championship. They're not done just yet, though. Into turn 2 they go.
And this is the good thing about this truck and this style of racing. You can really just have at it side by side and give it everything. And certainly that is what these drivers are doing here. And again, just Lewis trying everything he can, using the track limits and then some to try and do anything he can to get past Ryan Jones, of course, our race winner from the first race.
And if you're wondering how points are shaking up in the driver's situation, well, Sam Fitzpatrick, Lorenzo Bonder tied on 96 points apiece, and Ryan Jones 1 point back from then. Dan Yeaman in the mix as well. Oh, it's a good thing we've got live points so we don't have to figure this out on the fly heading into that final race.
Yeah, back of an envelope maths is not always the best on the fly, but certainly these drivers they're giving us a good show here. This should be more of a thing. This type of road racing with these trucks.
It's not bad. The only thing that I would speculate is missing, and I know certain people are already shouting at me that no, we're not going to be allowed to do that legally. But yes, let's get some jumps in there. Oh, not that sort of a jump though, as somehow Michael Deturk got on through and then avoided getting turned into the wall. Somehow, still managed to hit the left side into that Armco barrier.
Oh my goodness, that is a change of underpants needed there, I think, for that one. Joe Tebben's just dropping down the order as well through all of this. So big moves starting to happen now in towards just outside of the top 10.
And is that Alexia Loma with no front end on his machine? It very well could be a side-by-side steal for Deturk and Lewis Ward into the opening corner. It was a Loma's Fissura car that has no front end, and we can see him there just in front of the battle with Joey Tebben and Cameron Dance, who's been charging his way forward, but starting at the back, only 13 positions gained, and has got a wall of cars in front of him. Joey Tebben into the grass to make the pass.
Oh, Alex is getting flashbacks to the street stock race, getting bullied around here now. Yeah, this is getting a bit more physical. Still plenty of time left though, 6.5 laps, so you know, you've got to be careful.
We're on board with Cameron in that Hyperstim rig as he looks up the inside of Joey. There's that elevation, and this is the good thing about this car. At least it's not a downforce car. You don't get too much unsettling at the front when something like that happens. Let's check back in, though, with the battle for second, because Will Chadwick's checked off. Lorenzo Bonder's trying to stick his nose into a place where it doesn't necessarily belong, but it's forced Fitzpatrick into a mistake. He goes out wide. Yeaman sweeps on through. Can Bonder do so as well?
Oh, Lorenzo, for the pride of Brazil, trying everything that he can. No, he can't do that for the moment, as Sam Fitzpatrick live points now, leading by 2. But yeah, Sam went, how we like to say in the business, a little hot into turn 1 there, and that just gave Daniel Yeaman that opportunity down the inside in the place. But it's so tight in the driver's standings.
I just have to remember, Paul, remind me before we leave this session, I have to hit the button save championship points, because this is so close. We don't want to be trying to do it, like you said, on the back of the envelope. We've got, what, 5 laps to go, though. Will Chadwick still continues to lead by 2 and a bit seconds. These drivers realistically fighting in and amongst themselves, and Jack Stiles is not too far off the back of it. Jack Stiles, I should say, retired commentator right now, but soon to come out of retirement, will be trying to close on these drivers. Fitzpatrick back to second.
If he's coming out of retirement, then I'm sorry, he's not having my seat. As we carry on, I mean, this is a great shot. Now, this is a great shot for when you're off-road at the best of times, but here on the road side of things, if we keep on this camera going into the compression here at the bottom of the hill, you're turning left, and then you can see just the amount of movement that the suspension's making there, and up and over the rise. That just shows you just how much these trucks are having to move around.
And is Dan Yeaman going to be able to squeak his way on through? He looks left, right, center. Eyes darting around, might even have triple monitors in front of him, it would seem. He's got a box of Fanatec equipment behind him. I wonder if he's got some new gear to try and get onto his rig as well. Sam Fitzpatrick takes some liberties with the track limits. It holds on to some momentum, but closing stages, Yeaman back underneath into turn number 1.
He's a keen model maker as well, I can see in the background with his trees that he's got in the models there. So there we go. So obviously got his sim rig set up where he does a little bit of modelling as well, and I'm not talking about taking photos for magazines. Oh, there's a bit of a rub and a shove into turn 1, and we're going 3 wide on corner exit.
I think this is 11th all the way down to 18th positions. Feast your eyes into bragging rights 3. Everyone just wants to prove that they can walk the talk. Cameron Dance continues to try and juke his way on forward. He's got Jeff McConey directly in front. Aloma, still with no front end, is in 12th position and trying to run his way on forward. But wow, this is frenetic.
Frenetic is certainly one word to describe this. Some would say chaotic. As we had trucks in the wall in the background of the shot there. So, yeah, 3 to go here as we head towards the end of this lap. And, well, certainly these drivers now, they'll be knowing that they've been involved in a race with these trucks.
I'm guessing this might actually be the most difficult combo of the 3 in terms of it's unfamiliar and therefore requires a decent amount of mental focus, and so I wonder how drained they're going to be out of this. And the IRO4 at Silverstone, in contrast, is yes technical, but a lot more about drafting and racecraft than this, which you're just manhandling the machines and hoping you stay in the thin and narrow. These drivers 5 seconds off of your race leader, by the way. Will Chadwick is ready to take 2 laps to go. Fitzpatrick still trying to hold on to seconds.
Yeah, doing his best to try and hang on to it for the Apex Racing TV group through the final corner. And yeah, Chadwick 5.2 seconds clear. My goodness, he has checked out at the front. But this is the reason why he's checked out at the front. These drivers have been fighting absolutely tooth and nail. No quarter asked and none given amongst them. And certainly, as we're 2 to go, this has certainly been an entertaining portion of the race for second place.
And no bias in this commentary booth, but if Jack Stiles and Lorenzo Bonder could get past at least Dan Yeaman, if not Sam Fitzpatrick, it would be very beneficial. Would get a couple more points on the board as you see those live team points on the right-hand side. It is still very, very close. It's anyone's game going into the final race. Fitzpatrick runs a bit of the middle line, though, blocks the opportunity for Yeaman to squeak on through into the penultimate corner. We're going to see the white flag this time by, and Jack Stiles had a look into the penultimate corner.
You could see, though, that how by Yeaman running that middle line, it actually blocked Jack, who had a great run out of that corner. And as we start that final lap now, here's the opportunity.
Is he going to be able to squeeze his way on through, though? Stiles and Bonder have got to watch from behind and try and take advantage. Slight nose alongside for Stiles, has to cut back out and try and get onto the power slightly later, but I think for now Fitzpatrick might have this covered.
If Sam could just position his truck in the right place at the right time and not defend just free air, then he has got this second place under the belt here. But certainly, right now, if you're these drivers, you think, is it worth risking it for one extra point?
Will Chadwick says, I don't need to risk anything. Out-qualified by Lorenzo Bonder, yes, but proved himself in the race. It's Will Chadwick that will see the checkered flag and winner of race 2 in bragging rights 3. What's going to happen behind, though? That's the question. Yeaman is behind Fitzpatrick, I would think. Timing on the left-hand side slightly seems out of skew, and so Fitzpatrick does enough to grab second.
He certainly does that on my timing screen, so as they all go charging in. Oh, well. Now, one thing I will say, I hope these drivers remember that some drivers will have direct drive wins. So, you've got to be careful with that. But, yeah, that was an entertaining second race. I enjoyed that one. But, yeah, Sam Fitzpatrick does just get that second place. And that'll be crucial for him from a driver's championship perspective.
And so we'll see if we can grab a look at your race results as they all filter towards the line and finish things up in this second of 3 races. And now we'll make the trip across the pond to the home of British Motorsport, but to the best version of the home of British Motorsport as well. The historic layout, the old version. Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun, and they're still wrecking. That's Dylan Cole, who's finally pirouetted back onto all 4s and then taken out by Iku Merakala.
Well, if nothing else, iRacing are getting some good data as to how the new damage model's performing.
Let's grab a look then at those race results. Will Chadwick, 7.8 seconds clear at the end. Sam Fitzpatrick scored a second on my timing screen and confirmed at the end as well, with Dan Yeaman third in front of Jack Stiles and Lorenzo Bonder. RaceSpot, with 3 of those top 5, have managed to close things back into the team championship, with Ryan Jones for SimSpeed, Lewis Ward for the Apex Racing team, and then Caleb Parvainen for Fistra, Michael DeTurk for GSRC, and the Aaron Smith-driven Apex Racing team machine. I've done it again. It just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? The Apex Racing TV team. There we go. Alexia Loma, Andrew Cardinal, Cameron Dance, Tim Cox, Jeff McConey, Justin Millerlow, Reese Gardner, Josh Wilkie, Taylor Burris, and then Gary Weaver make up the rest of your top 20. And this time, most of the drivers on the leading lap, including Evan Pasoko, Dylan Kroll, and then Iku Merakala. It's just Joey Tebben, Brandon Herzing, Simon Mazzomo, Jason Fairwinds, 1 lap down, with Jonathan Grabowski and then Derek Watson classified as 3 and 6 laps down, respectively. Let's see if once again we can make our way on over towards some of our post-race interviews, where let's see if William Chadwick's going to be gracing us with his presence as he stands by to chat with our own Paul Smith.
Well, there we are then. What a dominant win for you, Will, after not having the best run in the oval. I'm just there we go. He's finally unmuted his microphone. Will, how are you feeling after that second race of the evening?
Fairly good. I hope my mic's working okay. I've been streaming a little bit today. And yeah, no, I feel okay. It was quite a hard car to get used to, jumping in with 10 minutes. So, yeah, I actually thought my qualifying lap was good, but I think once I got to the race, I realised that it wasn't amazing, and I realised where I kind of lost the time. But just tried to save tyres at the start, and Lorenzo did God's work on the radio, on the chat. He was rooting for me and got me a gap to pull away.
Well, that's it. I mean, the drivers behind were fighting so hard that they were just giving you the opportunity to run away. But going into the F4 now, at the best version of Silverstone, how are you feeling going into this one?
Well, I've drove the F4 car quite a lot. I think I'd definitely be the favourite going into it. So I guess it's just on me to perform in the moment, I guess. But we'll give it a good go. Love a good bit of fun in the F4 car. It's always a great car to drive, and driving at tracks such as the old Silverstone is, a pleasure, really.
Well, go and enjoy an Uncle Joe's mint ball or two in celebration of that one. But thank you very much, Will, and all the best for the final one.
Thank you very much.
For people who don't know, Uncle Joe's mint balls are a local delicacy from Wigan, which is where he's from. But Cam, I mean, my goodness, this has been one heck of a first couple of races for you.
Yeah, it's been quite wild, to be honest. Not quite sure what I was expecting, to be honest. I thought it was going to be a little bit more of a breeze, but it's been quite wild. And so far, it's been a lot of fun.
I mean, I just want to quickly touch on that opening race. I mean, scrapping with your teammate and making contact, I mean, it's not a good look, is it?
Not really. I don't think that was the initial plan anyway. I think just Ryan got a little bit of a slide on. I had a decent run, and yeah, the way it planned out, it didn't quite end well for me. So yeah, a bit unfortunate, but hey, look, it's still a lot of fun, and we still got a decent result at the end of the day, and we're still leading, so can't complain.
And that's it, you know, how's the mentality coming into this final race? Is it just a case of go out and get as many points as possible to secure that win?
I think so. I think that's the plan for all of us, is just try and get as the results we possibly can for the team. Obviously, it's still pretty close with the fact that it's been a very mixed bag so far, but yeah, if we can get another win, then let's go.
I have already said at the start of the broadcast, I am biased, so I hope that you do lose. But anyway, all the best for the final race, Cam.
Yeah, cheers, man.
There we go, Arjuna.
No bias whatsoever. Thanks to Cam for coming and chatting with us. We pulled him out of some practice in the closing stages of the practice session as we take a look at, it's glorious to see old Silverstone, and I'm going to break out the yellow pen. It's been a while since I've had the pleasure of commentating on a race, Paul, and seeing cars come up under the bridge.
Yeah, through Abbey, plunge underneath the bridge, through the right-hander at Bridge Corner, and then head towards Priory, and then back onto what we use more recently now. But you can actually walk that section of the track now. That is part of the public area now for Silverstone. So the last time I was there last year with my dad, we actually went and walked down on that little bit of the track, and you stand there, look underneath the bridge, and you think, well, how on earth do they know that they could take that corner flat out?
Having now been to tracks with lots of elevation and blind corners as well, that is one thing that you don't appreciate in the sim. You think in a sim it looks scary, but not as scary, I promise you, as sometimes it does in reality. The level of commitment that we're going to see from these drivers is going to be great. And in 160 horsepower Formula 4 machines, Paul, racecraft, mentioned it earlier, is going to be important.
Certainly is. You've not got the most amount of aerodynamic grip with this car. Yeah, you do have a little bit of grip, I will say, with the wings on this. But it's all about momentum out of corners, carrying the speed through corners, and using the slipstream that you do get from the other cars. So definitely it's going to be a real challenge for these drivers. And if anything, before I was due to be racing in this one, but unfortunately an injury has caused me to be sat here in the commentary box. This is the car I was actually not looking forward to driving out of the three combinations.
Really?
I'm just not a good open-wheel driver, apart from in the Skip Barber.
I did think about the Skip Barber. I thought about the Formula Ford as well. But to come to Silverstone, I thought they were both a little bit too low-powered, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. But still, I mean, you'll get some fantastic racing in this car, that is for sure. And certainly these drivers will have a lot of fun in the Formula 4. And I mean, we've seen it here on RaceSpot and other broadcasts and other broadcast networks as well, how much fun the racing can be and how close and intense it can be as well.
Yeah, and you know, we've had top-level competition start to come to this car as well. We've just wrapped up the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. We saw in person and during the Brazilian Grand Prix weekend at the Max Arena, the Campeonato Sudamericano Esports Championship as well. So it's been a whole host of local and regional competitions, all as iRacing and the FIA continue just to build their partnership. The drivers are out there for qualifying once more, and again, they will get just the one lap here at Silverstone, but it is a long lap and one where pushing the limits of the track are going to be important. I wonder how they're all going to be thinking about the points coming into this one. I get the sense that there will be some discussions being raised about Sam Fitzpatrick's corner cutting in the race at Lime Rock, but he leads by 3 points over Ryan Jones, Lorenzo Bonder, and then a bit of a separation to those behind.
Yeah, there's been talk in the virtual paddock about that going into the final one, but we did say there would be no race control decisions made. We did give a little
during
stern
the
talking
race.
to.
We might find out afterwards that something will happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do have the replay saved if you need it. But yeah, definitely that front three, that's going to be really interesting to see how they get on. But at the end of the day, as much as you want to win for yourself, in a competition like this, it's more about the team, isn't it? It's all about trying to get that win for your team.
You say that, but Bo Albert was very quick last year to update his Twitter bio, maybe at my insistence, that he was the fastest commentator of them all. You can see, by the way, how close it is for everybody. They're all trying to gain little footholds in their respective battles. Now, those points don't look correct to me in the teams, because last we saw, it was RaceSpotTV.
RaceSpot, yeah.
Unless there was a slight miscalculation, but it is looking very close regardless.
Absolutely. I think that might be where we have to start looking at the back of an envelope maths coming out here in this one. I'll tell you what, to be fair though, for some of those teams that are just two driver outfits, you look at GSRC leading those two driver outfits right now ahead of PitStopTV and the iRacing team as well. That's a nice little interesting fight going on between those drivers.
It is indeed. And I think what we might be seeing here, by the way, is we're having a few timings hiccups in the previous race that I think might have been messing with our live points calculation. So I think this is the final indication. But, again, a position is worth a point. If the Apex Racing TV team, made sure I said that one properly that time, it only took me about 50 attempts, if they finish a cumulative 8 points in front of SimSpeed, they are your Bragging Rights 3 champions. It sounds simple, Paul, but SimSpeed are quick, and I think they'll be quick in this car in particular.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Cam will be up there challenging. By the way, the drivers have really had to get a shift on out there because they've only got 5 laps to get 1 lap in.
5 minutes.
It's a long old 5 minutes to get 1 lap in. Now, they've got to leave the pits and do their out lap as well, remember. This car is, you are pushing it to be able to get that lap time in if you do sort of spend a little bit of time in pit road. And one driver who I can tell you has been down on the lane and has not gone out is Cam Dance.
I think he went out and invalidated his lap already. Although, I think we're going to see the time start to come on in, and so, indeed, it was only ever going to realistically be an attempt at most for the drivers in this qualifying session. Will Chadwick wanted to be fast. He's fastest of them all so far. Aaron Smith second, Alexia Loma third, whereas the rest of the field going to stack on up.
Oh, look at that. Apex Racing TV coming in there, second and third place. That's what they're needing. 7th place for them as well. So they're coming in strong so far in this qualifying session. But remember, qualifying, that doesn't mean nothing for the standings. It's all about how you get on and finish the race.
So Danny Amon slides his way up in towards 6th position. We've only had 13 times done. I wonder how many people have actually been able to get solid laps onto the board, and only 30 seconds to go. There's Brandon Herzing. He doesn't get a time on. Tim Cox has been able to slide his way into 14th. At least it's something, though. We've only got 20 seconds left to go.
Yeah, so time running out as we have the last couple of cars coming round to set their lap times, and certainly drivers will be using this if they have set their lap time just to try and get used to the conditions, as the timer will strike 0. There we go, just 14 times set.
And so it's Will Chadwick that has got RaceSpot to the top, but the lack of times actually I think is going to mean that Cam Dance doesn't start as far down the order as he may have expected to be doing so otherwise. And so with 8 laps on the agenda, the qualifying order is locked and loaded for the final time today. Let's see if we can jump down trackside and lean you through today's starting grid here at the home of British motorsport. Will Chadwick, 141.560. He will lead us to the green at the front with Aaron Smith alongside, only a 10th off with Lewis Ward and Alexia Loma behind them. Michael DeTurk and Danny Amon for GSRC and SimSpeed once again find themselves alongside one another with Simon Mazzomo, Josh Wilkie, Ryan Jones, Lorenzo Bond are the rest of the top 10. It will be Dylan Cole and then Jeff McConey lining up in 11th and 12th positions with Taylor Burris, Tim Cox, Cameron Dance and then Jason Fewins fields through the top 8 rows and into the first drivers with no times onto the board. It'll be Jack Stiles and then Sam Fitzpatrick 17th and 18th positions, with Reese Gardner, Iku Merikala, Kalle Parvainen, Joey Tebben, Gary Weaver, and then Justin Melillo through the front 12. Andrew Cardinal, Evan Pasoko, Jonathan Grabowski, Derek Watson, and Brandon Herzing make up the rest of your top 29 starting field. They will not be having a standing start with the 29 drivers that they have, so instead it's a rolling start that will, Paul, see them ride 2 by 2 into Copse Corner, and we're about to prove that hopefully commentators can do so safely.
Tell you're an IndyCar fan at rolling starts, but yes, certainly these drivers, it just means that they're going to be heading down to Copse Corner at an even greater rate of velocity than they would have been on a standing start. So that's going to be fun, seeing them on cold tyres as, we've got all sorts of shenanigans going on a bit further back in the field there as they set off for their start. But yeah, definitely... certainly going to be an intriguing race, and it's a big race for these teams out there, for RaceSpot, for Apex Racing TV, and for SimSpeed.
Here's a look at the points as they run right now. For the drivers, it's close. It will be close for the teams as well, but it is SimSpeed that seemingly have a bit of an advantage. Will Chadwick's not going to hang around. He picks the throttle up. We're racing for the final time in bragging rights 3. Third time's a charm. Who will come out on top at Silverstone? We're about to find out. And already, cars are down to pit lane and cars spinning through the final corner. Watch the rejoin there as they all filter through Copse. One car going very, very wide, but drama instantly from the drop of the green.
Oh, it happened straight away there, and Cardinal, Cam Dance on pit road, Reese Gardner on pit road as well. So Cam Dance, the driver that they were expecting to do well, he is down the order.
And so here we come on towards the hangar straight out of Magnussen Beckett's for the first time and rising up towards Stowe. Big gap between Chadwick and Smith towards the front. I think Smith is going to put some pressure onto Chadders here today. It's a lunge up the inside from Dan Yeaman. Knows that SimSpeed want to try and make headway while they can. And don't forget, Old Silverstone means old track limits as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. These drivers will get caught out by that. But it does mean that because we're using the historic layout of this one, it means it's a lot faster as this one as well. Look at them all the way out through the exit of Club Corner and heading towards Abbey now. This fast left-hander, and then just fly through Bridge Corner. You can see the cars, the back end's just trying to hang on for dear life for grip for the head on into Priory. Get onto the brakes, Priory, then Brooklands, and well, Smith's making moves through Brooklands. He's not going to make it round the outside of Luffield though.
It's Apex Racing second and third on track, leading in the team points as they're calculated right now with all the drama that we've seen on the start. But Aaron Smith does not want to hang around. They've only got 8 laps with which to work, and as we dive towards Copse, Chadwick feels the need to go defensive. He will compromise his run out of this opening corner as they slide towards Maggots and Beckett and out wide as well into the AstroTurf. It will be Aaron Smith cycling on forward and Chadwick trying to get back into the draft.
Well, you can tell Chadwick's really, he was really going for it. He wants to be the winner of this final race here after not having the best oval race, but on board then with Alexia Lerma, and this is somebody who I expect will be looking to finish off this final race on a high after getting bullied in the first 2 races.
Just a little bit, unfortunately. Hopefully no damage on his car this time by Chadwick. Bowled on the second lap of the race and back up the inside at Stowe. But this is where, as they go side by side through the shortcut, the draft's going to play its part almost 3 wide as they jink to the left.
They can't be fighting like this. They're slowing each other down. That's bringing in Lewis Ward into this one, Alexia Lerma. And then look at the queue of cars behind that's catching back up to them here. They've got to be careful. It's only 8 laps as well that they've got to do this. And right now, Ryan Jones has been slowly working his way up. He's up a place from where he started, as Will Chadwick to the inside.
Still battling in this final sector, and we look from this aerial shot. Just look at them closing. Smith with the mistake of bobble, and now Ward on through. Aloma's not going to be able to follow. The Fistra machine will try and go the long way around as they come back towards the line. That's 2 laps of fighting done. We've still got 6 more left to go.
Will be breathing a sigh of relief right now because he's got half a second. But that will close up with the draft, with the slipstream, as we head into Cop's Corner once again. But yeah, this F4, again, running wide. Smith, you've got to be careful running out there because it has got the AstroTurf there. It can unsettle the car as a RaceSpot car seemed to be coming out of pit road there. I think it was Derek Watson.
It might have been. It could also have been Jack Stiles just running off the track based on a moment I saw on my timing screen. Aloma's got Yeaman almost bump drafting him as they come onto the hangar straight now. And this is important because as Chadwick starts to pull away and almost breaks the toe up in front, if it gets to 1.3, 1.4 seconds, then Chadwick will have the opportunity, like he did at Lime Rock in the Pro 2, to run away and leave those to fight for scraps behind. Yeaman's going to push his way past Aloma, though, as they come back in towards out of Stowe. This jink towards the left, and this is where the arbiter of track limits, Paul Smith, must not be happy with some of the things that you're seeing.
No comment. I can't be trusted with a live microphone about the track limits here. But yeah, you can see again, Lewis. Oh, contact! That's a big one.
And that is going to mean drama for the Apex Racing team because Aaron Smith goes around, has been able to, I think, claw onto it, but in 8th position through all of that. Chadwick not totally out of the draft just yet, but suddenly it's 3 points to the good for SimSpeed.
How did Aaron Smith not get collected by anybody else at Bridge? Because, my goodness, that was a huge, huge moment. I'd love to see that again. It was just a little bit of contact. Around he went, and then lo and behold, we just caught the end of it there on that one. But, yeah, here we go then. Going through Abbey Corner, he's having to just get off the throttle. That allows Lex Aloma there. There's contact between the two, and well done, everybody else, to avoid him.
I've got to say, that was great car control. Alexia Lomo, though, I think slightly showing the frustration of what has been two maybe up and down races for him at the start of this one. Didn't really want to lift off, as now he puts the pressure as we rejoin the live pictures onto Lewis Ward, the sole surviving Apex Racing TV machine now inside of the top 5. Ward lets him go. I don't think Ward is as quick as Aaron Smith, but now that's an additional point to the good for SimSpeed.
Yeah, SimSpeed are starting to feel a little bit more comfortable with that, and you look at their drivers now that are occupying those top 8 places right now. It's looking really good for the SimSpeed outfit.
There's Simon Mizomo, who hasn't had a great competition so far today, but is at least running up inside of the top 10 right now, as Fitzpatrick is now up into 10th position as well. 8 positions up from where he started in this one, and those are not just valuable points for himself in the driver standings, but of course in that team championship for the Apex Racing TV group as we come to the end of the first half of the race. In terms of drivers, though, it's Ryan Jones versus Fitzpatrick. 1 point between them. Lorenzo Bonder could be in the mix here as well, Paul, if he gets a bit of a hurry on.
Yeah, but he does need to progress forward a few places on all this. In fact, it's equal at the top. How do we sort this one out? Rock, paper, scissors?
I think by virtue of the fact that Sam slightly cut the course not once but twice in Lime Rock, by default it goes to Jones if there is a tie. How about that?
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, that is fair.
He's got to make his way clear, I think is the best way to put it, to make sure that no post-race penalties come into play either, as no, Evan Pasoko has gone around.
He's not just gone around, he's missing a wheel. Well, it's half attached. Oh no, he's had to give up there. Let's see what's happened to you, Evan, here. Oh, it's a solo spin, and he's going to collect. Oh, that's a big hit.
Was that Jeff McConey that I think got maybe mixed up in that one? I couldn't quite tell. Jason Fairwinds has also made the trip back to pit lane, so I can probably assume he was the red and white car that got involved in that. I will also say, by the way, much like I complain about real sim teams and how many of them share colors, Apex Racing team, BS competition, blue and white, there's many other blue and whites, red and black, Urano, red line, so many more. Broadcasters, how have we all managed to land on the same color combinations? RaceSpot are yellow and black, so is McConey. Apex is orange and black, so is Grid Vision. And then there's the red and white / red and black, SimSpeed, GSRC, and FTF.
Yeah, come on. It's we need to try a bit better, get coordinated with our branding. Aaron Smith is having a nightmare now. He's dropping down the order. He's had issues there. Just returning to the track. Oh, watch that rejoin. I think Connor and Maddock will be having a few words with you, Aaron, with that rejoin right in front of somebody. Here we go. He's just lost it into Priory, into the gravel, tries to recover, gets onto the loud pedal. Oh, around it goes.
And that was side by side with Ryan Jones as well, who will be wanting to try and stay out of trouble. I'm not sure if any of these drivers necessarily have the live point situation for them figured out, but Fitzpatrick now 1 point to the good. That's pressure on Ryan Jones to avoid falling behind Lorenzo Bonda. And now as they come across some lap traffic, almost ran into the side of the 92. Here comes Fitzpatrick though. It's the three drivers fighting for the crown, fighting down the hangar straight.
Oh, 3 wide into Stir corner. Nothing bad ever happens here at Stir. Oh, wait, no, it does. As they go through, can they keep it clean? Well, a very wide line from the Apex Racing TV driver. That can almost work out for him because it gives him the inside through the Vale into Club, but not quite for the time being. So Jones ahead. Oh, Fitzpatrick's had to back out of it. And here comes Lorenzo.
If there's damage to the front wing now of Fitzpatrick, will that start to compromise him with still a couple of laps to go towards Bridge? Not an issue just yet, but this is where the commitment's going to be on display. Great camera shot as Fitzpatrick opens up the corner, tries to look to the inside, but no damage to the front wing. It's now just about holding on and staying out of trouble. 2 points to the good in the live points swing as Aloma, Ward and Yeaman. This might end up being, Paul, the fight for the the team championship as well, if Dan Yeaman can stay out of trouble and hold on to his spot.
Yeah, Sim Speed though with a comfortable 10-point gap now, even though they have actually gained 3 points on Apex Racing TV. RaceSpot in a good 3rd place right now as well. So as points changing once again in all of this, because Fitzpatrick now has got ahead of Jones, although Lorenzo's proving to be that little annoying gnat fly as Jones takes to the grass through Beckett's. That'll be a slowdown penalty. It
will, and now the problem with that as well is the slowdown's going to be served at a place where you don't want to be lifting off, and hasn't lifted off just yet. There does seem to be some damage to the front nose cone of Ryan Jones's car as well, and maybe that's where some of the difficulty seems to be coming from, because he's not necessarily up to speed from where we saw him before.
Yeah, he's still got that slowdown hanging over him right now. What he's trying to do is just ever so slightly just be slightly off the pace, just so it just creep away. And there we go, he's cleared it now, so he can go back to full speed in all of this, but it does lose him that little bit of time compared to Fitzpatrick and Bonda.
Where's the race leader? I'm starting to wonder to myself. Will Chadwick is heading into the final sector, so we've got one more lap to go after this one, don't we?
We certainly do. That's how a lap count race works as they go through. Aloma, Ward and Yeaman, though, these are still fighting out for those final podium positions. It's important points for their teams and for themselves as well. But Fitzpatrick and Bonda, Fitzpatrick now, he doesn't really need to fight Bonda as still side by side. Alexi's going to get a good result here, I think.
Yeah, I think he will at least be happy with the short notice outing here in Bragging Rights 3, and watch out for Bragging Rights 4. If the Finns decide to show up in full force, there may be no stopping them, because there's a few names that we've commentated on, Paul, in iRacing Rallycross World Championship action that may decide to come and school us on how things are done here behind the wheel. While these drivers fight, though, let's go back over to Fitzpatrick, Bonda and Jones. Jones continues to lose track, and it seems as though things are done and dusted when it comes to all our championships.
Oh, no, maybe not. Lewis Ward up in the air there. He stayed on the road, though, but that is huge contact. That's going to drop him down, and I think his car's toast, you know. I think it's done. That's going to lose the Apex Racing TV team even more points in all of that, but the calculation is still going on. You can see the live calculation happening, but SimSpeed, they'll be delighted with this.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, those dang Aussies, we just We can't stop them. They're just too good, unfortunately, at least for now. Will Chadwick will be hoping, though, heading on to Bragging Rights 4, that 2 consecutive race victories prove that maybe he's pretty quick and maybe he can lead RaceSpotTV in the future. He'll come across the line to win the 3rd and final race in Bragging Rights 3. There's not much emotion there because it's all credit going the way of SimSpeed. Dan Yeaman will lead them to the line, winners of Bragging Rights 3, 3rd time's a charm. And unofficially, with the asterisks hanging over him of, well, the cloud of race number 2, it's Sam Fitzpatrick to the line, and at least on points, Paul, ahead in the Drivers' Championship.
Yeah, on points, that is for sure. At the checkered flag, but whether it actually does count, we'll have to maybe do a little bit of a review. But there's been some damaged cars trying to make it to the end, and even more damage happening there as they come to the end of this race. But certainly, it's been an entertaining evening of racing here, that's for sure.
It was always meant to be about letting the drivers have some fun. So often commentators are left to deal with serious situations, and week 13 is meant to be about not having to deal with anything serious. As they continue to wreck, they continue to celebrate what has been an enjoyable 2023. Let's not forget a new page coming into 2024 with new iRacing features to look forward to, and all of our drivers going to be kept very, very busy in the months to come. I already know a couple of things on Paul and my schedule for 2024, and plenty more I'm sure to be announced in the coming months. And I'm looking forward to, Paul, the best part of Bragging Rights is not necessarily the racing, but the banter that comes afterwards.
Yeah, there's going to be plenty of banter that happens, that is for sure. One thing I will say, I'm already thinking about Bragging Rights 4. We should, touch wood, by then, have a curveball in terms of weather to play.
How should we play that? Should we just throw stuff randomly at drivers? Should we try and get snow into the mix? I don't know. We'll have to figure all of it out as it comes to us in the coming months. Here's a look at the race results. So 3.5 seconds the margin for Chadwick as he breaks the toe. Lexi Aloma second with Dan Yeaman, Michael de Turk, Simon Mazzoma, Sam Fitzpatrick, Ryan Jones, Lorenzo Bonda, and Kalle Parvainen. And then Aaron Smith, the rest of your top 10. Aaron Smith, not 1 but 2 bobbles, still able to get a top 10 finishing position, showed the speed that he truly had, while Dylan Coyle, Joey Tebbin, Justin Milillo, Tim Cox, Cameron Dance, Andrew Cardinal, Gary Weaver, Iku Marakala, Reese Gardner, and Brandon Herzing make up the rest of the top 20, with Jonathan Grabowski, Lewis Ward, and then Jack Stiles and Jeff McConey. Final car scored on the leading lap, with Taylor Burris, Jason Fairwinds, Evan Pasoko, Josh Wilkie, and Derek Watson. The other cars scored onto the board. Let's see then if we can begin to make our way through some of these opportunities to talk to some of the drivers. Let's go, and instead of talking to Will Chadwick again, let's speak to someone from SimSpeed. And Paul, let's check in with Dan Yeaman after getting a 3rd place finish to round out Bragging Rights 3.
Yeah, here we are then. A podium to finish off his final race of the evening. Dan, it is a podium, but more importantly for you guys, it is yet again another Bragging Rights in the books.
Apparently so. Yeah, thanks, Paul. 5:30 a.m. in the morning. It's getting along for me, and I've had a bit of a fun night. I, at one point, was thinking maybe I wouldn't be able to make it. I've had some fun computer dramas. It meant that I had the most unprofessional broadcast of my life last night. Thank goodness it was Max Bantz instead of something serious. But yeah, thanks to the guys at SimSpeed, Simon, Ryan, Cam, Jason tonight, who were able to get out and track and able to make it 3 from 3 for us. Do want to put my hand up though and say apologies to Lewis. Just went for the send when I really didn't need to, because I was going to go for the glory there, and just in too hot there through at the end of the hangar, and just ran wide, and the contact was pretty gnarly there from what I saw.
Yeah, it certainly was, but I mean, still though, at the end of the day, it's a fun event, it's a fun series. 3rd place though for you in that final race. You must be happy with how it's ended in the year.
I mean, after having had no chance to practice with aforementioned tech issues, basically dominating my past couple of days, felt really comfortable towards the end of the street stocks race. didn't have the pace of William on the road courses. I wasn't expecting to be able to be anywhere near him tonight. But to be able to get P3 in both the Pro 2 lights and the F4s here, yeah, felt pretty good. Just lacking a little bit, it seems, an ultimate pace. We had to sort of rely on a little bit of misfortune for a couple of guys at various points, and yeah, going for a bit of a 50-50 move there to get that last spot.
Well, all I will say is congratulations to you and the team, and also all the best with your modelling there as well in the background.
That one, unfortunately, that belongs to my brother. I get a corner of the room for the sim rig, and everything else is his. But yeah, there is a country Australian model railway being built up in the background there. So yeah, you're not the first one to comment on it, but yeah, certainly it makes for a nice piece of window dressing, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, congratulations on that anyway.
Cheers, Paul.
So Dan Yeaman, the winner with SimSpeed. Third time's a charm. Unfortunately, those Aussies still win, although we had to drag it out to a third and final race. Let's start our cycle through some of our different broadcasters. They're always great to catch up with a few of them. Let's chat with Andrew Cardinal from PitStopTV. Andrew, great to have you back out for Bragging Rights 3. Talk to us about the event from your perspective.
Well, unfortunately, I bungled everything in the street stock race, but it was good to finally be here. Missed this race last year. Had my team kind of fill in for that, but this was a lot of fun. Thank you guys, RaceSpot. This is tons and tons of fun for us broadcasters.
And the thing that's fun for me is that there's so many broadcasters behind the scenes that, you know, people may not get to know about. Talk to us a little bit about PitStopTV and everything that you guys do.
Yeah, well, PitStopTV has kind of been a whole bunch of everything. I mean, we've got oval leagues, we've got road leagues, a little bit of rallycross in there sometimes, and dirt racing over the course of the few years. Really, it's mostly me, but I'm thankful to be able to work with GSRC, SimTV, PTR TV, some different channels, and move across iRacing a little bit. We've had some really cool events that we've done in the past. We've got the North American Racing League and others. I mean, we've had Tony Kanaan in broadcast, so it's cool to have kind of been there, done that for some of those things, and just be a part of the iRacing broadcast community. It's a lot of fun.
Well, thanks for joining in with us. Hope to see you out for Bragging Rights 4 in a date TBD in the future. Let's go then to some of the other members of the community. Evan Pasoko forgot to send a broadcast camera to us, but he's standing by with our own Paul Smith.
This doesn't feel right, doing interviewing one commentator for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series with the PES commentator. But Evan, I mean, you've already said in the YouTube chat that ovals over road for you. How did you find that?
You know, I was pretty miserable starting the street stocks, and that's my fault because I don't think I've plugged the wheel in since I moved a couple months ago. But it's fun because you're sliding them, and it's just math for me, right? Phoenix has got 4 turns, maybe 6, right? The dogleg's weird. Lime Rock feels like no more, and then Silverstone's really what threw me for a loop, right? It's a learning curve. But while my results were, the top 10 on the oval race at Phoenix, I actually have so much fun driving road. I'm just not good at it. So if we figure out that second part, I'm really going to have a blast.
Evan, you're not the only one who's not good at driving road. You're talking to one right now. But you're looking at, that first race, what a charge through the field. Was that a case of just getting more and more comfortable with the car, or did you just forget to set a qualifying time?
Totally intentionally did not set a time because I didn't know. Obviously, the field size was a little bit more manageable than some of these races in the past, but the oval ones, you always anticipate there's going to be just a huge pile up. And I also wasn't too comfortable with the car still, even with the the longer practice session being attached to that first race. So I figured don't take a time in queue. Start at the back, and then it was a combination of kind of avoiding the wrecks, being smart, but then also running down the guys like Dylan and everybody else that was kind of around me for, I'd say, 7th through 10th at the end. Caught those guys from about 3 or 4 seconds back. So it was a combination of strategy to stay out of it, but also just feeling more comfortable.
And while we've got you on, highlight of 2023 for you from a broadcast perspective.
I feel like the easy answer is always when we get to do the eNASCAR finale at the NASCAR Hall of Fame, right? But that feels normal for me to an extent because the eNASCAR stuff is what I've been doing for so long. I'd say some of the most fun that I've had in the booth has been getting out of my comfort zone. So we've done, a lot of the oval special events here on RaceSpot, but I've started doing some road commentary as well, just to try to branch out, try new things. So I think anytime I can commentate something new or different has been what I've enjoyed most about this year is getting to try something different.
Well, Evan, pleasure as always to have you here, and all the best for 2024.
Likewise, gents. We'll see you when we do it next time.
And Evan, as a road course commentator, scary thoughts. He's coming for our jobs as well, it would seem. Let's continue our merry-go-round of the broadcasters. Let's go chat with someone who came in on short notice. And Alexi Aloma finished 2 races with not much of his car, but at least when he had most of his car on, you finished on the podium, right?
Yeah, that's true.
How was it, Alexi? It was great to have you, Iku, and Kala come and join us here. Fisra, of course, there's a lot going on behind the scenes that I think a lot of people don't know. Finnish national championships and cool broadcasts. How cool was it for you guys to come and, well, not have to broadcast and just drive instead?
Well, personally for me, I mostly don't broadcast. I race more, but yeah, it was pretty fun. Like, no practice, but still, like, fun combos and trying to have some fun.
What was going through your mind in that first race with the street stocks? It looked pretty interesting for you on the outside in the early stages, and then the contact in the closing stages.
Yeah, it was like in the beginning I couldn't clear him, and well, at some point I was able to do it because I knew that if we stayed like that the whole race, I'm for sure going to get, like, I don't know what Günther Steiner would say, but yeah, something with the door. So I managed to clear him, and then, I mean, he hit me twice, I got loose, and then he hit me one more time. So I don't know if he thinks that's a bump and run, or I think it was a dump, but yeah. So
well, it looked like fun, at least until it wasn't. Thanks for joining us, Alexi. Hopefully we see Fisra again back out for Bragging Rights 4 in the future.
Yeah, thank you.
Alexi Aloma joins us in the commentary booth. We'll continue our cycle through the team of broadcasts I see waiting for us. It's, Reese Gardiner, who's represented many a broadcaster, but here flying the flag for GSRC, standing by with Paul Smith.
You know, I was wondering in that first race, and I was watching that when we were commentating that first race, is there going to be a serious track guide for the Phoenix oval? Because my goodness, that was a bit crazy out there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I wasn't as prepared for this as I probably should have been. But yeah, it was a bit difficult getting my head around the oval. I was happy with Lime Rock, to be completely honest with you, but I don't know, that was taken out of my hands.
Yeah, certainly looked to be getting a bit physical out there. But then, well, the F4 at Silverstone, it's nice to see the best version of Silverstone that we've got on iRacing, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, that seems to be the popular opinion. I don't necessarily share it, but I understand why people think that. I'll publicly apologise for my part in the pulling off the grid shenanigans. I just floored it, and, uncaffeinated Australian running on 3 hours of sleep, I just went right into the back of the cars in front of me. So I took my fast repair early on and tried not to spin, failed, and finished where I finished.
Do you know what my excuse is about the Silverstone, by the way? Is I
What's
grew
that?
up with that version of that Silverstone, so that's my reasoning there. But you were representing GSRC this year. How do you feel going into 2024? How do you feel it's looking in terms of broadcast-wise for yourself and everybody?
Well, I can't really speak much for GSRC because I've only done like 3 shows for them this year. But I suppose SimSpeed needed one less attribute to commit towards doing the 3-peat, and they ended up doing it anyway, so congratulations to us at SimSpeed, hooray. I was happy to represent GSRC. It didn't really go my way, so I'm sorry that I couldn't get the points that we needed, but I'm looking forward to working with them more in the future. I'm really happy to take part in this. Thank you very much.
Well, it was a pleasure having you along as well, Reese, and all the best for next year.
Thank you very much, guys. Cheers.
Always great to chat to Reese. Helps if I unmute myself. I was struggling not to laugh after he said that this version of Silverstone is not the best, but we'll leave that for another broadcast where him and I can get into that. Let's chat with our winner of Bragging Rights 3, third time's a charm. A bit of an asterisk on that because Sam Fitzpatrick, what were you thinking cutting the track twice at Lime Rock?
Just brilliant strats, really. I am a former Super Trucks champion, and I don't like to mention it too much, but it was very impressive, and that's how you win in Super Trucks. So, yep, we got some places through that, and yeah, it worked well.
It was, at the end, a very fun fight, a three-way fight between you, Ryan Jones, and Lorenzo Bonda at Silverstone. Talk us through what was going through your mind as there seemed like on a couple of occasions, more than one, there were only pixels between a couple of you, and you tried some bump drafting as well.
Yeah, it got really close. And I think all of us were quite near the top. I think at least a couple of us were. I had no idea that I'd won, by the way, so I'm very pleased about that. But yeah, it was quite a lot at stake, and it was good fun. This was a brilliant circuit to pick. I mean, all the card track combos were absolutely brilliantly picked. But honestly, that old version of Silverstone in that layout, the historic layout, is like really, really fun. So it was just a ball having those races in those laps, and it was unfortunate that Lorenzo got involved that instant on the last lap, but yeah, it was still a lot of fun between us.
It's okay, we can blame Lorenzo for that. We do that a lot here at RaceSpotTV. As we move forward into 2024, I know behind the scenes for the Apex Racing TV team, that's hard to say, by the way, just try saying that on one of your next broadcasts.
An extra V you have to add compared to normal.
Exactly, but talk us through some of the stuff that's been happening, because I know that you, as well as Tim, racing in this event from Corby.
Yeah, and Lewis Ward as well, so there's the three of us sat in the customer area of the Apex Racing Sim Centre at the moment, using the very nice VRS rigs that we have. We have 8 of them, and then we have 6 of them, of course, where the drivers race as well. So yeah, we've got obviously lots planned for the new year. We're going to be doing all kinds of stuff with TV, with lots of broadcasts, and obviously the team are going to be back in all kinds of championships and travelling places. So yeah, it's going to be an exciting 2024. We've got a lot of big ambitions.
Thanks for chatting with us, Sam. Congratulations. I think we're going to have to say you share the championship, though, with Ryan Jones, just for race control purposes. But congratulations. It was great to see.
Thank you very much, and apologies for not having my webcam set up.
That's all right. We all know how wonderful the Corby Centre really is, and yes, we'll see that plenty more, I think, on future broadcasts. Taylor Burris of Grid Vision is standing by, though, with Paul Smith.
My goodness, we're going through all of the broadcasters here, Taylor. I mean, my goodness, it looked like a fun evening. I wish I could have joined you all, but somebody went and did something stupid and fell over. But anyway, yourself though, how did you find that this evening?
I mean, overall, it was pretty fun for the most part. Hated that last race. I got rear-ended before we even took the green, but other than that, it was all pretty much fun and games. Looking forward to it. Always fun to come up, even though the rest of my team couldn't make it because they got called into work.
Oh, that's I mean, on the one hand, it's like, well, that's disappointing that your team couldn't make it, but on the other hand, well, it's good that they're getting work there.
Yeah, so at least so we'll have to see what happens for next time we do this, and hopefully we'll have a little bit more full team of drivers for the Grid Vision group.
It'd be good to see that representation, absolutely. But yeah, how have you found this year working in the iRacing broadcast for your outfit, and how's things been going at Grid Vision?
Everything's been going pretty good at Grid Vision so far. This kicked off as of earlier this year, so this is a new company myself and a couple of other members have come together to form, and looking really good. We are actually starting in 2024, partnering up with, of course, the teams of the Stars Championship Series, the real-life karting championship, to cover their series while they're in their off-season. And starting also in 2024, we will be covering the top splits of the B and C Open Series, as well as the NASCAR iRacing Series starting in 24. So a lot of things are looking forward. Have a great group of people working with us, and a lot of great leagues, great partners, and we can't thank them enough for coming on board with us for this year. And outside of that, busy. I mean, I'm already over 150 broadcasts this year alone.
Good grief. I can't quite match you with the amount of bookings there, so yeah, it's good to see that you're busy there, Taylor, and all the best for next year.
yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to try to get back at it a couple of people for next time.
There we go then, Arjuna. I believe we've got one more interview to come.
Indeed, we've had a chat with basically every broadcaster that's been standing by for us. We just have one more to talk with. That is FTFGG. And so I tell you what, I was trying to decide, should we do it with Justin Milillo or Joey Tebben? We've heard enough of Joey here on RaceSpotTV over the years. So let's chat with Justin instead. Justin, great to have you here. Of course, not just a member of the FTF broadcast team, but a staff member at iRacing as well. How was it being out there flying the flag for FTF in Bragging Rights 3?
Yeah, that was really fun, Arjuna. That was a really cool experience to finally be able to get to do one of these. I remember watching it on my living room couch and cheering on FTFGG last year. That was a good one too. But actually being out there, it was a lot of competitive broadcasters out here in this sphere that we got going on. So really. The combinations were choice. I actually had the most fun at Silverstone, I think, and I didn't think that was going to be the case, but yeah, tons of fun today, for sure.
It's been a year of change for you in many ways, but Justin, your new role behind the scenes at iRacing, I think, is going to be emphasizing a lot of what the broadcasters are doing, not just in the biggest series, but in some of the fun community stuff as well. So talk to us about some of the things that you see behind the scenes that are so cool in the world of broadcasting.
Sure. I mean, it's just really fun. I've always loved, I've always been a huge NASCAR fan and everything, and I've loved being able to put, these type of things into people's eyes, really. To, I'm sorry, I'm like 5 wide in the moon car thing that's going on right now.
Oh, great!
Yeah. So that's not helping me right now put my thoughts together, but it's really fun to bring sim racing in general, just to everybody's eyes. It's always been a passion of mine, and when Zach Johnson, our producer at FTF.GG, came to me a couple years ago and we got this thing all rolling, it was really fun. And like you said, it's been a year of change for me. I was at Traction.GG, and unfortunately that project is no longer with us, and I don't want to say that I fell into the role at iRacing, but very lucky to be here now behind the scenes there and seeing how the esports side of things work, officially. I've always not been on the official side. Now I'm seeing how it's all working in that sense, getting to see the eNASCAR and the IMSA and the World of Outlaws and everything else that's been going on. So it's been a lot of fun and really eye-opening experience, and very grateful to be in the spot that I'm at.
Looking forward to seeing what you bring to the iRacing table for 2024. And Justin, always great to have you a part of our RaceSpotTV shows.
Absolutely. Thank you, Arjuna.
So Justin Milillo, our final interviewee. We chat with every one of the broadcasting teams that joined us to get a bit of a sense for what's happening for them behind the scenes, because Paul, we know a lot of what's happening at RaceSpotTV, but outside of that, there's so much always happening in the world of sim racing.
Well, you know a lot more than me. That's for sure. But no, there's so much happening coming forward in 2024 in the world of sim racing. I mean, we've got to finish 2023 yet. There's still so much to come here. I'm just thinking of the IMSA Esports Championship, if nothing else. That's been absolutely tremendous. And there's other series coming up as well that start in this month. So there's never a dull moment in the world of sim racing, and this is where you want to be.
And of course, so many developments behind the scenes, like some of those broadcasters we're talking about. So make sure you stay connected to them on social media. There's stuff happening behind the scenes for RaceSpotTV as well. So I encourage you to subscribe to us. Tomorrow, the Porsche Esports Carrera Cup Deutschland kicks off, so you'll want to check that out. The first series that RaceSpot has been covering on that brand new sim Wrenchboy. It's going to be a lot of fun. But Bragging Rights 3, third time's a charm for those Aussies. 3 times in a row, they are the fastest broadcasters. They are able to walk the talk. We'll do this again in 2024, who knows when, to find out who the fastest broadcasters are, who the fastest commentator is, and hopefully it will be someone from RaceSpot. No bias, hashtag. For now, though, it's time to say goodbye. For Paul Smith, alongside myself, Arjuna Kangi Party, thank you so much for joining us here on RaceSpot TV. Enjoy the rest of 2023, and we'll see you in 2024.